What's up, YouTube? Today we're going to be looking at some Sunshine Cup battles, the new rotation for this week, which only allows, ground, grass, fire, and normal type Pokemon. So it's a little bit of a limited meta. That being said, we're going to look at both of the Zyres, both Quagsire and Clodsire on one team, and we're pairing Clodsire with Raticate as the safe swap because Dark and Poison, they cover each other's weaknesses pretty well. And Quagsire kind of just deal with Diggersby because you're going to notice we're looking at a quite unique move set on both of these Zyres. So let's get right into the match and you'll see what I'm talking about. So right off the bat, you'll notice I'm running Sludge Bomb and Stone Edge, which is unfortunate because our first lead is a Whiscash, which completely walls us. Any ground type completely walls us. So we'll switch in with the Raticate. We'll get off a crunch before they get to a move. And we actually get the defense drop, so that's pretty huge. They are going to chip with a Scald here. That does about 50%. Raticate's got some decent bulk. I don't have the greatest IVs, but they'll do for this matchup. And we actually get another defense drop on the Dunsparce that comes in, and they also throw right away, so that's great. Because now that means we can just come in, we're actually going to come in with the Quagsire here. They're going to get off another Drill Run, but at this point, they're basically in Aqua Tail range because of that defense fall. So I'm just going to go straight for that Aqua Tail. That takes out, so that's huge. They come back in with the Whiscash. So now that means my Clodsire has flipped switch and is going to be on whatever's in the back. So they clearly think that whatever's in the back can also handle Clodsire. And I don't know if that's true. I think it was more just their Talonflame didn't want to come into a Quagsire. That being said, they've still got 2 shields. So I'm going to fully commit to the fast move farm down because I see that as my only win con. I am letting both of these go because they would be forced to throw a Brave Bird to take me out. And now that I still have a shield, they can't get to a move and I can just get the full farm down. So we actually take that win. Into the next match, we got a pretty neutral lead in Abomasnow. Both of us are hitting for each other for super effective damage. I've got 2 coverage moves that hit for super effective damage, so I am just going to go for the Sludge Bomb. It doesn't quite take out, but then I go for a catch on the Raticate. They come in with Girafarig for some reason, and then instant quit. So I guess we'll take that game. Into the next match, we got a great lead, Typhlosion. Blast Burn is neutral, but this is the non-shadow, so I'm not that worried. Thunder Punch, they can't really bait because that is double resisted. They will shield the Stone Edge, and then they're going to go for 2 more Incinerate. So at this point, I can't really shield because 1 Blast Burn won't take me out. And then they come in with Dunsparce. So I don't have a great answer in the back. I probably will come in Quagsire after I chip. No, I'm coming in Raticate. And that is just because I probably want to preserve my Quagsire because that Typhlosion is still pretty healthy. So I think that's actually a pretty good play looking back on that. So we'll see how it pans out. This is just kind of a neutral matchup. And we can get to that return to take them out here if they decide to no shield, which they do, because they are already down a shield, so they don't want to shield. And we actually get to a crunch as well. So Raticate is putting in some absolute work here in this matchup, and they shield, so that's huge. So now we can come in with our Quagsire. We know this is going to be a Blast Burn. We're going to not shield that up, and then they have, unfortunately, a complete wall to us in the back. So how are we going to get out of this matchup? They let that Sludge Bomb go. That's huge. They have to. They've got no shields. And now we can shield up everything here. I imagine we do not want to take any more of these Vine Whips, so we're going to go for that Aqua Tail right away. Hopefully this is enough to take them out. And it is, which is massive, because now that means we just have to get to an Aqua Tail against the Typhlosion, and we will take that win. So that was just, their Typhlosion didn't really have anywhere to go on our team, so Even with an answer, if you've used both your shields, you're not going to take that win. Okay, we got mirror leads in this matchup, but unfortunately we are not running Earthquake, but my opponent switches out. So that tells me they're either running an ABB line or they're also not running Earthquake on their Sludge Bomb. They come in with Miltank. I don't have a great answer, so I'm just going to stay in with the Clodsire, especially because my Clodsire has no play against their Clodsire, so I may as well just play out this matchup. It looks like Sludge Bomb is pretty non-threatening to the Miltank. That does very little damage. So this time I'm going to go for the harder hitting Stone Edge. And that still doesn't take out. So they are going to get to an Ice Beam here. I'm fine with letting this go because even if this takes me out, which it actually doesn't, then they come in with Clodsire. So I bank the energy of a Sludge Bomb, and then I come in with my Quag because Quagsire has a very dominant matchup here. I did shield a potential Earthquake, but they're actually running Water Pulse. So my opponent also running some interesting tech, but unfortunately Water Pulse in this matchup is not great. I do CMP tie them on their next move with another Aqua Tail. This should be enough to take out. And no, actually they live on exactly 1 HP, which means they are going to get this chip. That is pretty unfortunate. But then they come in with Swampert, and we are at even energy, even shield parity. So we're going to switch into our Raticate, and my opponent resigns the match. Not really sure why there, but we will take that win. Terrible lead into the next match. We got a Flygon on the lead. We are completely walled. We come in with Raticate, and we actually bait out the Talonflame. So we're going to get a Crunch off. They actually let that go. They were counting correctly, knew we were not at a return. So at this point, we're just going to let this go. They have to Brave Grip to take me out, but they don't. They just go for the fly. That does allow them to get an Incinerate farm down, but that also allows me to grab a shield, so that's big. And now I have to come in with Clodsire here because I need my Quagsire healthy to deal with that Flygon. So I wouldn't be surprised if I take some hits here and then come in instantly after they Brave Bird with my Quag. Just reading that they would have to instant swap out of there or let me get a full farm down. So coming with Quag, they are already out of move. They're on Dragon Tail and Dragon Claw and probably Scorching Sands. I will get off the Aqua Tail. Right before they make it to their next move, they actually let that go. So clearly whatever is in the back is not too weak to Quag, and unfortunately that is true. They've got a Credillia in the back. Even these Bullet Seeds doing decent damage. They do let me get to a Sludge Bomb on both of my Zyres here. Unfortunately they do shield the first one up, but now they're at no shields. I might be able to survive this move. Yeah, it looks like just barely. And then they come in with Talonflame to force my energy, which is pretty unfortunate. I go for a slight undercharge there, but a little too late. Can they get the Bolt Seed farm down? No. Clodsire just way too tanky. We actually get another Sludge Bomb off, which is huge because now that means we can get the Mudshot farm down before they make it to back-to-back moves here. And I believe that one will KO. Somehow working out our way out of that matchup, just the spamminess of the Zyres. Okay, so now we've got a pretty neutral lead in the first matchup. Claude actually wins this in the evens with Earthquake, but unfortunately I'm not running Earthquake. So I do catch the Dunsparce, and then my opponent is also running their own normal dark Pokemon in Obstagoon, which means these counters are double super effective on the Raticate. Fortunately for me, their counting was pretty poor, and they shielded Crunch, so that's huge. I have to come in with Clodsire here. I don't really have a choice. I do want to resist these counters, especially if they get the Night Slash boost. But my opponent is actually running Obstruct, which is actually really annoying in this matchup because now it's probably going to take more than 2 Sludge Bombs to take them out. Maybe with the Poison Stings, but I don't quite want to show off what my second move is and actually go for another Obstruct, which is super annoying. So I'm going to probably need 2 more Sludge Bombs here. Fortunately for me, they're also not doing a lot of damage. At this point, I switch into my Quag, and they go for another obstruct, which means my defense has fallen, which is bad because now I'm locked in a matchup against a Greedent running Bullet Seed, which is double super effective damage with my defense lowered. So this is going to be really hard to get out of. Fortunately, I do have 2 shields. So I shield up the Trailblaze correctly. At this point, I can make it to an Aqua Tail, and then my switch timer will be up. And they actually let me get to a move on the Clodsire, so now this might force a shield. Actually, they're out of shield, sorry. So that actually just gets them deep into the red. I know one move will not take me out here, even a boosted Body Slam. And they come back in with the Dunsparce. They were energy dry because we caught, but unfortunately they are still very healthy, so it's going to be very hard to get out of this matchup. They don't overfarm at all, so I just let this go, knowing rollout is resisted on the Quag. I need this Sludge Bomb to take out to have any chance of winning this game. Does it take out? No, unfortunately. Dunsparce is just a little too bulky. That might give me a chance for a full farm down, but they actually come in with Obstagoon, which was really low. Then they come back in with the Dunsparce, which means I get the full farm down, and then I leave with a Sludge Bomb. So my opponent making all the wrong decisions in the end game there, and that actually gives me a win con in that matchup. They were probably hoping I'd blind throw on whatever they came in with, and I didn't, so we take that win. Another bad lead and quite the flex for my opponent. They've got a shiny Shadow Flygon in the lead. I have to let this go because I do not know what's in the back. And once again, we see another Obstagoon. So Raticate catching all the strays in this matchup. This one, no shields, and I actually do make it to the return, so that's huge. Then I can come in back in my Clodsire to farm this down. Obviously, we've seen this. I'm going to need my Quagsire to help with that Flygon matchup in the back. I do throw the Sludge Bomb right before they make it to their next move. So that takes them out. We're instantly switching here because we know they're going to come back in with that Flygon. They're going to wait the switch timer, and they actually don't. They come in with Dunsparce, so that is really unfortunate that we switch into this matchup. And that, my friends, is why you do not blind switch. I would have perfect alignment here had I not done that. Fortunately for me, rollout still resisted, and these Aqua Tails and Sludge Bombs are going to do decent amount of damage. I'm actually not sure what the damage per energy value is on an Aqua Tail versus Sludge Bomb, but I'm just going for the harder hitting move there, because if they let that go, that's put them in farm down range. I do build up the Aqua Tail, but I don't throw it because I need to grab shields here. Fortunately for me, they don't know my moveset, so I can go straight to Sludge Bomb, especially because Flygon is so glassy. They can't really afford to let anything go. I will probably shield this because I do need to grab that second shield, and fortunately for me, they full send the Scorching Sands. Now I'm throwing another Sludge Bomb because this is all I can do. Everything I have is resisted, and they shield that. So now all I need them to do is throw their energy instead of going for that full farm down, which they do, which is huge because now I can get off an Aqua Tail. I throw one in the move just to prevent the catch. I see the Dragon Tail go through. I take them out with the Aqua Tail, but unfortunately the Dunsparce has just too much HP, and they take me out with the rollout before I can get the Mudshot farm down. Into the next match, we've got Bibarel on the lead. A pretty spicy pick for my opponent. They are on Water Gun, so they're going to be charging pretty slowly. And I will get that crunch off before they get to a move. And then they come in with Credilli. Credilli, obviously, we do not want to see on our Quag, so that's actually pretty nice to bait that out. Unfortunately for us, Quick Attack and Return are both resisted here, so we have to go straight Crunch. That being said, Raticate got some decent bulk, and they're not going to be able to get that Bullet Seed farm down before I make it to at least another move. And we get the defense drop, which is pretty huge because that means we can probably get a Poison Sting farm down. So we are going to let this go. They go for the Rock Slide, just a little bit cheaper. Come in with the Clodsire. They bank that energy and then come in with Barrel. I get the catch of the Surf on the Quagsire. Unfortunately for me, these Water Guns will add up, so I will need to throw this Aqua Tail pretty much right away. But that does let them come back in with their Credilli. I might be able to get the Mudshot farm down before they make it to a second move. So I will probably shield this up. No, I'm actually going to let this go. I'm reading that my Clodsire is my win con. We have a simultaneous KO, and it's 2v2 shields, Clodsire versus Abomasnow. So that was a really good read on my part, and that was just reading that they had double grass in the back because of their lead with the barrel, which deals with the fire, so they're kind of running an ABB style team. And fortunately, even though my opponent has the pacing advantage in this matchup, I definitely have the bulk advantage. And with the Poison Sting buff, I can go straight Sludge Bomb in this matchup and probably take it in the 2s. And we actually make it to a Stone Edge before they make it to their 3rd move. So we're just guaranteeing the knockout, and we take that win. Into the next match, Talonflame. So this is a pretty good lead. Obviously, we have the Stone Edge for coverage. Every single Talonflame is going to shield that first move. I mean, it's a pretty risky bait, and there's not really any point to bait, so just full stun the Stone Edge. This does give them the opportunity to Brave Bird and dip, which they do. Clodsire is super low, and then they come in with Credilli, which is pretty unfortunate because obviously neither of my back 2 Pokemon really want to see Credilli, but I will chip with the Sludge Bomb and then come in with Raticate. Obviously Quagsire definitely can't come into that matchup, so we'll let one Grass Knot go. I thought my opponent was going to throw it as soon as they got to a move, so I unfortunately let an entire Bullet Seed sneak by not going for good timing there. So that does let my opponent take me out with this Grass Knot, but that's actually okay because now at this point they're pretty low on energy and they might not make another move, which they don't. So now we've got a Quagsire with a shield advantage, and they come in with a Abomasnow. So this is where Sludge Bomb coverage is nice. Obviously Stone Edge would do pretty much the same thing, but Sludge Bomb actually has better pacing. It has last season's Stone Edge pacing. It's 7-6. So that allows us to get it to 1 turn earlier here on the 2nd rotation. On the 2nd cycle, this Sludge Bomb does take them out, and now all we have to do is get to an Aqua Tail, and my opponent knows this, so they resign the match. Into what I believe is the last battle of the video, leading into a Shadow Gust Pidgeot. This one I will bait because like 9 out of 10 times they're going to shield and go for the Feather Dance. Sometimes Shadow Pidgeots are actually running Aerial Ace Brave Bird, so it is possible that they just go for the Aerial Ace, which they do, so that's pretty huge. This time, now that I've shown the Sludge Bomb, I'm expecting they're not going to shield this, not expecting me to run both Sludge Bomb and Stone Edge. So we actually take that in the 1-0s, and then they come in with Double. Double, obviously not an answer to Clodsire, but we cannot switch out of this matchup. We have to just kind of play it out, and that is just because we cannot align our Raticate on this. They would take double super effective damage from those double kicks. We actually get the Stone Edge off, and then we still make it. Looks like we would have made it to another Stone Edge, but I actually just settled for the Sludge Bomb, not expecting me to make that, and that's fine. No matter what they're running here, even if they go for a Wild Charge, it's resisted, so I can no shield this. And then it's just about what is in the back. It is a Jump Bluff. So we're going to go for that Sludge Bomb. No baiting here. And if they let this go, that's pretty much game, because now we can just go for the 2 shield, quick attack, farm down on Raticate. Aerial Ace, oh, never mind, Acrobatics or Energy Ball. We're going to shield this up. That's actually better for us because that means their pacing is slower, and they do not save shields for their jump off. So I can just double shield. My Raticate is healthy. They go for the swap. Wasn't at a move yet, so and then we will just get off this crunch to take out the jump off. So yeah, that is the team. The double SIRE theme team, both of them running Sludge Bomb. I had a lot of fun with this, especially just because not a lot of people are expecting it. As far as team balancing go, it's kind of random, but it works. There wasn't really any Pokemon that were a huge deal. Obviously, you saw those Credilli matchups, which is bad for our backline, and not like a great matchup for our Pokemon in the front, but we were still able to overcome all of those and take the wins. I think Raticate is just like a generally safe swap, good safe swap in this meta. Off-screen kind of one of the only Pokemon that can punish it. And there's not a whole lot of off-screen running around because the counter is resisted on poison, on flying, so the Clodsires, the Talonflames. So, yep, that's the team. Thank you all for watching. Hope you all enjoyed. Peace.